I don't know what it is. I don't know how it came about, but I'm starting to piece it together. And so I think it is the most magical thing that any human can create change in their life instantly by flipping this mental switch. And so at the project, we talk about it, man, that guy flipped the switch and then he broke it off. Like he can't unflip it, and I love seeing that. And these guys report back months and years later after graduating, like, hey man, my normal life problems are like a 1 and 2 on a Richter scale now because the project set my threshold for adversity so high. And I just respond back, that's because you flipped your switch.
Welcome to the Fitness CEO Podcast, a show dedicated to helping fitness entrepreneurs launch and grow successful gyms. Here's your host, Bryce Henson.
We've obviously had some chats about it, but one thing I've noticed that you post the tagline, the hashtag flip the switch.
Yes.
And that's been a recent, over the last few months at least, I've paid attention to it. So I would love some more insight on that and that mindset, if you will, because that's what it seems to be.
It is. Yeah. So where flipping the switch came from is this conversation that myself and the other project instructors have during the project. If you're a new listener to this, the project is a 75-hour, it's actually called the Modern Day Night Project. It's a 75-hour personal development experience for men. Ideally, it would be entrepreneurs, men who are entrepreneurs, have families, and are trying to balance the growth of their business and their family, and the stress of that is overwhelming for many us men. And the project is there because myself, I'll help them with their productivity and life structure and personal discipline and, of course, business acumen. Then we have a Navy SEAL as an instructor, and he puts them through hell, along with the Marine who's an instructor. And then we have a former SWAT guy who teaches really cool pistol and rifle tactics, because I believe all men should have the ability to defend their home and their community. And of course, we have an MMA instructor who teaches hand-to-hand combat, which is, hey, we should all have those skills as well as men. And so the project, we put these guys through some treacherous experiences, and they're called evolutions. One of them is called the pit. It's a 400-yard dirt pit that they crawl through with a sledgehammer and their canteen. And you would think it'd be easy, but when it's 26 hours in, you haven't had any sleep, you're hungry, you're exhausted, you've been yelled at by an angry Navy SEAL and Marine and been told a million times you're doing it all wrong, even though you know you did it right. And then you're about 300 yards into the 400-yard crawl, and they make you restart over again. And now it's 4 a.m, and you just don't know how many more times you're going to restart. And any given time, there's a bell. Just like the Navy SEAL, Ray, decided that there's going to be a bronze bell, just like Bud's, where they could ring the bell and quit any time. And the bell is always tempting you to just get up and ring the bell, and the pain stops. So I would notice that these guys would be looking towards the bell. And my role during these physical evolutions is to be the Papa Bear. Like, hey man, Bryce, don't look towards, I know you'd never look towards the bell, but let's say we're using you. Don't look at the bell. That bell's got nothing for you. You promised your wife and kids that you were going to come back on Saturday and not a day earlier. And you promised them you're going to come back a changed man. So after this evolution, if you still want to ring the bell, you've got my permission. But for now, don't look at the bell. Keep crawling. And I'll give them a fist bump when Ray and Steve, the Marine and SEAL, are not looking. Because when they see me give these guys a fist bump, these guys end up suffering, not me. But all of a sudden, you'll see like that guy who was looking at the bell and had defeated eyes, something happens. And there's a flip of the switch. And then us instructors and the medics, will come to one another like, hey, I just noticed this guy. You can tell he flipped the switch. He flipped the switch, meaning he's got this stare. He's not looking towards the bell. He's not looking at the instructors for approval or validation. He's just looking 1,000-yard stare at the outcome. Like for that evolution of the pit, there's 2 giant electrical towers that they have to crawl to, and they're just fixated on that. They will start 1,000,000 times over again if they need to, but they are fixed. The guys that have flipped the switch are locked on. That happens in the ocean when they're during the beach evolution. That happens in the ice bath. That happens on the hike when they're carrying logs and giant tires during this hike that has 8 massive hills for 4 miles. And I love seeing them flip the switch, because in that moment, what I learned is change happens in an instant when you decide to flip the switch. Most people think that change, like you look at someone, I'm going to use a battered wife. She's been in this relationship for a long time. She deals with the abuse. She deals with the infidelity. She deals with the alcohol. She deals with the disrespect. She deals with her children getting abused. But something happens within her one day where she flips the switch, she grabs the kids, and they're gone. Actually, that's a very familiar story to you.
Dude.
Donna.
Yeah.
Right?
That's it.
She flipped the switch. Something happened. I don't know what it is. I don't know how it came about, but I'm starting to piece it together. And so I think it is the most magical thing that any human can create change in their life instantly by flipping this mental switch. And so at the project, we talk about it, man, that guy flipped the switch and then he broke it off. Like he can't unflip it, and I love seeing that. And these guys report back months and years later after graduating, like, hey man, my normal life problems are like a 1 and 2 on a Richter scale now because the project set my threshold for adversity so high. And I just respond back, that's because you flipped your switch. So flipping of the switch is an idea, it's a mindset, it's a belief system, it's a change can happen in an instant. And I'm working on creating some kind of, I don't know if it'll become a book or if it'll become a video or a manuscript or something where I will be able to share how one can flip the switch in their life and have the change that they want take place instantly like these guys have during the project.
Hey, my friend, hopefully you love that short teaser of the recent episode on the Fitness CEO podcast. To check out the full episode, it will be dropping shortly. But in the meantime, there's some other episodes around here that you need to see.